Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yes.
Fantastic.
Excellent. So I'm Mark Island, and with me, or I'm with.
It's Brian
Hi.
Font here. We're super excited to talk about the community today, right, Mark?
We are, yes. Perhaps we should have rehearsed the intro a little bit more smoothly, but that's okay. The intro is not the important part. The
No,
content becomes the important bit, so that's
that's
all right.
right. So we also want to introduce who else is here with us today. Steph, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Stephanie or FME Webinar. I'm going to be helping you guys out running the polls and stuff like that and chatting some links out as we go. So that's where you can find me. I'm going to go
Awesome.
now.
And we also have Nampreet. Nampreet, do you want to say a few words as well?
For sure. Hi, everybody. I'll be here in the back end helping answer some of your questions. Please shoot us any questions throughout the webinar and we'll try to address them during the webinar.
Fantastic.
Have fun.
I think we do have a few question and answer breaks. So yeah, bring those questions to us for sure.
And we'll
So
have a
I'm
few
going to turn,
polls as well to break
yeah,
things.
just going to turn my camera off there just to make sure you can hear us pretty well. And let's get going. So as we said there, Brian and Mark here today. We're again very active ourselves on the community, and our entire team is as well. And so we're really, really happy today to show you and highlight the brand new community that we've recently released. And we're going to walk through all the details and talk about it. And again, yeah, bring your questions. Maybe Mark, do you want to walk through the agenda that we've got going on?
Yeah, for sure. We'll look through the FME community, just give you an intro in case you've never used it before and you're not really sure what it's all about. So we'll give the intro to that, and then we'll talk about the new design, because that's really why we're here today, is to show you what we've done with the community in the last week or two, and what's new, and what are the new possibilities of this. And then we'll touch on the Community Champions program, just to mention that and who our community champions are. And we'll talk about the FME Hackathon very briefly as well, just so you're aware of that, and we'll encourage you to sign up. And then, yeah, we'll do a Q&A as well. And like I mentioned, we'll have lots of polls going on in here to break things up. But we are going to do live demos of the new community as well, so you'll see what it's all about.
Perfect. And yeah, I want to quickly touch on just in a way, how we work at SAFE, how our support team shares knowledge with everybody. And that's really our goal as a group, is to share what we know with the FME community, with everyone using FME, because we want you to be successful with the platform. And we know it can be so helpful for everybody using it. And so we have incredible free resources available, of which, of course, the community is one of those. And we'll walk through that quite detailed today, but I do want to touch on just a few other notes before we get into it, which is the fact that our training is absolutely free and one of the best ways to ramp up on getting started with FME. In fact, there's now a 4-hour introductory course that is just a perfect way to understand the lingo and understand just the basics of how to use it. And so I highly recommend that for anyone brand new to FME. Seek out that course. We do host it live, and we also record them, and you can do them at your own pace, which is very, very good. And our support is always available as well. We have live chat on our website, and live chat is there from 9 to noon and from 1 to 4 Pacific time every work day, every business day, and except I guess Canadian holidays there, Mark.
That's right.
Yeah, but of course, please come chat with us. It's a great spot to get pointed in the right direction when you're stuck on something. And the final note there, of course, if you're running into an issue with FME and you want to talk to our support team, we're always available. So come join us and submit a ticket to our team, and we'll be happy to reach out and have that conversation with you. So yeah, free resources. Everything we want to do is get our FME knowledge and just throw it out there to the world. That's the goal.
I looked the other day and was
yeah.
amazed at the amount of support cases that we're going through live chat now. So it is very popular to be able to chat with people in a live basis.
Yeah. And that's really our team. Like that's the support team just right behind that chat tool. So easy to talk to us.
So
we've got a poll, Mark.
Yeah. So we just wondered if everyone's heard of the FME community before or used it, or whether they post, don't post occasionally, just to give us an idea, because we do know that some users haven't heard of it, especially new people. So perhaps we're not as good as getting the word out as we should be, but that's why we're here in a webinar. So
yeah.
Okay, so I think we've probably waited enough. There we go.
Awesome.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, so about a third of our people here today have only just heard of it. So that's great. We welcome to the community. We hope to get you signed up. And yeah, a lot of people read it but don't post, and that's fine as well, because really it's just for content as much as anything.
Yeah.
But what is the community about? Well, oops.
I lost my slide there for a second.
Sorry, guys.
I like the screen, but I too have the slide.
There we go. Whew.
So what's the community about? Well, it's not an official marketing message, but we in the knowledge and support teams, tech experts, we like to talk about it being like a 24/7 user conference, because all of the things that go on at a user conference we think can happen on the community live. And since the conference got postponed from this year to next, and obviously a lot more people are working at home or being isolated, then obviously a community like this can come into its own. So like a conference, we offer learning. You can learn how to use FME. There's resources there. We can talk to each other. We can share ideas. You can get product support. We tell stories about different users who have used FME in a particular way, and hopefully those sort of things spark ideas in other users and say, oh yeah, I could use FME like that as well. And so all of the things that would go on when you're talking at a conference, that's what we're trying to replicate on this site.
Exactly. And so that happens in things like discussion forums or ideas forums, where you're sharing product enhancement ideas that you have. But we've really tried to open up the new community to all kinds of different discussions, as Mark said, because that's what you do at a user conference. You really share ideas and share stories and get help, technical help. So that's going to be a big part of this community going forward. And of course, there is the opportunity for networking. And so we have the idea of groups within the new community as well. And we'll talk about those details as we show you the live site. And for me, I wanted to say, who is the community for? And I would say, our old community was really, really great for, I think, experienced users and those who were quite familiar with FME and had a technical question and needed a technical answer, quite like Stack Exchange. It worked really, really well. But we wanted to keep that happening, keep that technical discussion happening, and just expand the reach of who benefits from such a online forum. So we hope that anyone brand new to FME or not even FME users would be happy to ask questions in there. In fact, we've made a brand new topic space for those types of discussions to happen. But I think anyone who's within the FME sphere should be able to benefit from being part of the community. And so our partners, and of course ourselves, we're going to be on there constantly supporting and helping users get success. And I think we have another poll on this one.
I think we do. So yeah, so maybe I could just mention that one of the things I've been reading up and learning about communities is that well, sometimes the site is just like a knowledge base, and you personally go there and you look up information, but sometimes to make a real community, network is important. So this poll here is just talking about, well, what's important to you? Is it learning? Is it networking? You can select any of these. Personal growth, by that we mean, am I actually being highlighted in a community? Am I recognized by other people in the FME world that I'm an FME expert? And is it helping my career and that sort of thing?
That's right.
So yeah. And fun and games, well, we have that on there because I know that's what you're not primarily there for, but it is difficult to learn anything when you're bored or asleep. So we try and incorporate fun into every learning opportunity if we can. So
Awesome. All right,
there
I'm
you
going to
go.
close this down.
Yeah,
Share
let's
the
check it
results
out.
if you could. And
Awesome.
yeah, learning
Support
and
is a big one.
support. So this, I mean, this is great because now we know. I mean, we pretty much knew this anyway, I think, but those are the key things for our users, Brian, obviously. So
Yeah, for sure. Fantastic.
yeah, I would say
So
networking is
let's.
pretty.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah, sorry.
networking is pretty good for learning as well because when you meet new people, you learn new things and new techniques, and so yeah, I think networking is important as a part of learning. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's look at joining a community then. Sorry, Brian.
No, it's good. So let's talk about just a few of the benefits to joining. So as mentioned by that poll, obviously support and learning are huge. And I would say one big takeaway from today is that if you are working with FME and you are asking yourself, how do I do this thing? Well, the community is the place to go to ask that question. If you're stuck, if you need ideas. And that's really because as a support team ourselves, like we have lots of knowledge and ideas, but what I've found is that our users actually have the most experience and the most ideas around how to accomplish a specific task with FME. And so I see major benefits from asking those types of questions in the community where everyone can help you. And a new thing that we've added as well, which will be, I think, a big improvement for all of our users who interact with our support team, is the fact that you can get cases now. You can see your cases live on the site and even respond there. So you don't have to manage them via email anymore. You can really see the history of how you've worked with us and where specific issues lie. So those are huge. I think those will be just game changers for anyone new to FME or anyone using it. And yeah, Mark, maybe do you want to talk a little bit more about the networking and fun side?
Sure. I mean, one thing I would say about the learning and how to part just quickly is that you can do that even if you don't need, even if you've got something working already and you don't really need to know how to do it, it's still good to post your workspace and say, so I've got it working, but is this the best way? And then you can learn more by having your work critiqued online. So and that's partly goes towards networking as well, because when you're communicating with other users and making connections, you can help each other, and that's what we really like to see, and that's what happens quite a bit. And we're going to put special interest groups hopefully on the community as well. What groups we're going to do yet, I'm not sure, but we could have things for different languages, for different industries, for different countries around the world, that sort of thing. So we might even have an I love XML group online. And
Don will be the first member, that's for sure.
You can chat about how wonderful XML is, that's right. But networking, I think, is great. You have your skills recognized by the community. There's a few people that I see on the community that I know really well, and I wouldn't hesitate to say, oh yeah, I know them. They contribute a lot. They're good at FME. And you can basically grow as an FME user, if you like, to put it that way. And you have your skills recognized by the community. You become recognized as an expert. And I think that's what we all really want. We want to be recognized as an expert. So that's one of the things I think networking brings us. And again, as I mentioned before, we do fun and games because it's great to have you awake while you're learning. And we do a quiz every week online. We just got it on hold for a moment, but we normally do a quiz every week, and okay, it's fun, it's just a little game to play, but you hopefully learn things as well. The feedback was, wow, I've learned so much just from taking a quiz every week. So those things I think can be a real help.
Yeah, I'm absolutely hooked on the quiz. I've been doing it
Oh,
every
excellent.
week, just trying to beat out various safers because I love the fact that you bring different people in and have the community try to get a better score than them. It's quite fun.
That's really, yes. And we'll have rewards as well occasionally. So often these rewards are virtual, like badges and reputation points and that sort of thing. But sometimes we do real rewards as well, and we've got a few lined up that we want to start giving out soon. So that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, it's rewarding as well as rewarding in the actual strict sense, as well as rewarding in just learning.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So let's figure out how we join this thing, Mark. So I've
Okay,
got
let's
a
do
quick
that.
slide here, and you can see on the right, there's the login button. That's like really all you need as a community user to get into the site. And our URL is community.safe.com, super easy to remember. And one thing I would say is, as an existing user, or if you're creating a new account, one of the best things to do would be to introduce yourself to the entire community. And there's a great little forum space for doing that. I'll show that to you in just a moment. But what I want to touch on first is the fact that if you have used our community before, you had an account, you will still have that same account on the new community, and you'll just need to log in and everything should be there. But if you've never been to the community before, and many of you online today have not, all you need to do is simply click login. That will create an account for you. And yeah, it's pretty simple. I will say that you can always view all the content as a guest. Again, we want free resources out there to the world. But as we mentioned just in the last few slides, there are many benefits to logging in and starting to build that reputation and profile for yourself. So I'm going to jumping out, Mark, and let's take a look at the old community here.
Let's demo it live, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the homepage that you'll see when you come in. And the various different navigation spots are on the top. Forums, of course, are where all these discussions happen. The knowledge base is where we have articles and tutorials and examples. Great place to get started when you're working in a specific topic or just basic learning if you want to grow your skills. The Ideas Forum, as I mentioned, is a place where you can submit stories to us, things that you want to see in FME, and our product team is all over it watching that space. And finally, groups. Groups is totally new, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But that we think is going to be a big booster for everyone to network and connect with each other over various specific topics. And then support. That's before you can come support. So cases. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Steph.
Sorry, hey Brian, I'm not sure, you're breaking up for me. Is anyone else having the same issue? I might have you switch to the phone. Maybe if someone could just type in the chat if it's just kind of my issue, or
it's coming up for me as well. It's a little bit choppy.
okay. Brian, would you mind switching to the phone? And then Mark, do you want to chat a little bit about the homepage?
Yeah, so the homepage, I think in the top right, you can see Brian's logged in as CC Test. That's just his test login that we've got, but the login will be up there. You can create an account. Your existing account should be transferred. One of the things that is of interest is, well, are you using a personal email account to log up, or are you using a work account to log up? Because sometimes you use different accounts, and we understand that. So for now, we seem to.
Sorry, Mark, I actually just launched a poll based on that.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So here's a poll about whether you use a personal or work email address. Sorry. Yeah. I thought, oh my, we've suddenly lost Brian completely. But yeah. So with that, here's the poll. Enter your answer. But I think the address that you basically have an account under in our Salesforce systems at SAFE is really what's best to sign up for your community account, because if you do that, then you'll be able to see your support cases in the community. And so we're trying to get a single sign-on for the entire setup at SAFE. So you're not having to remember different accounts for the hub and for the community and for support and all of that. It's just one account. We do recognize that some people use their personal email address for this, 29%. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it so that you can also use a secondary address that we've got on our system. So this is great to know. But if you are having problems because you're using a personal address and it's not the same one that we've got in our system centrally, we are working on something that will try and solve that problem.
Yeah, hey guys, can you hear me? I'm back.
We can.
We can hear you.
Whew, sorry about that. I'm not sure. Maybe my network connection isn't as great as I thought it was today. Yeah. Where did you get to in that poll?
Well, we just did the poll, and I talked about the different accounts that you might have, whether you're using your personal or your work account.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the bottom thing there, which we didn't mention yet, is that you can always view the content as a guest without actually logging in, which is obviously important, because that previous poll showed us that 36% of you are just looking at the content rather than logging in, and that's fine. You can certainly do that.
Awesome. Yeah, for time I won't show the login, but it is just dead simple. You just click that button if you've never created an account, and away you go. But I think our time's better spent here, Mark, is getting into some of the details, right?
I think it probably is, yes. Trying to look at what's new in the community and seeing what new functionality.
Yeah, we've got this slide, and what we're going to do is kind of go back and forth a little bit. Let's talk about some specific bits in the community and show you what they look like. And maybe, Mark, do you want to take it away and talk about the UI bit and the topics?
Sure. Are you going to flip to the community and we'll have a look? So if you use that community before, then you'll recognize that this is probably a lot sleeker, I think. The interface is a little bit easier, I think, to find what you need. We've certainly gone through a lot of design phases to find all of those. So you can find what you need to fast, and there's all of the questions that we've got right now, and we have a search tool, which is pretty much the same as before, but probably improved a little bit, I think. So I mean, that's what we were trying to do, because obviously we know people are looking for help. So we've got search opportunities that incorporate the blog and the hub as well. So and the documentation. So you can look for specific things from specific years as well.
Yeah, I think it is a good one. We're going to be looking at making small improvements and adding more facets here that you can drill down to as we go.
Yeah. So if you go back to the main landing page, or you can see all the different forums we've got. So before, everything was all in one single forum. All of the questions, whether it was about cloud or security or workbench or shape format or whatever, it all ended up in the same list. And it could be sometimes a bit difficult to look for those questions. Like if I wanted to look through the XML questions, I'd have to do a bit of really hard searching. But now we've split things up into different forums. And so you can say, well, I'm interested in Workbench and authoring a workspace. So let me ask my question here, or let me hang out here and follow things to make sure that I'm following what's going on in this forum. And you can see that Brian's pointing out the follow button, which is the big orange button on the right. And if you hit that, you can follow what's going on in this channel. You will get alerted on the by email, or I think it tells you in your feed under your username. So if can you click on your profile, Brian, just to have a quick look at that?
Yeah.
If you look at your profile, That's where you can
There's
see
the
feed
feed.
what's going on. And obviously
Like,
Brian's not following a lot here, but
I'm using my test user, but I've got a badge, so I'm pretty excited about that.
yeah. So yeah, so that's where you'll get your recognition badges. You'll get all of the things that are going on in the forums that you're following, and so on. And yeah, you can upload a photo, and it tells you how many points you've got, and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to talk quickly about where you, like, how you would ask a question?
sure, yeah. So I guess you don't necessarily need to go into the right forum. You just need to go into ask a question, and you can say where do you want to post it to at the top. So
Right.
generally, you would do that. You can also add additional topics down the bottom. So you could post to, say, authoring and desktop as well, and it will appear in both of them. So if
Which
you
is
want,
actually really handy to pick multiple topics, I think, because sometimes your question doesn't always map 100% to a specific piece of functionality. So we wanted to provide both the capabilities of FME and the products of FME to be able to post under. I think is a big improvement.
And so obviously that becomes, you'd think it would be slightly more difficult because then you think, oh, well, I got to look at 2 different forums, but that's when you go back to your profile and everything that's being answered appears in that profile. So that's one of the places I would work in quite a bit. And you
get notifications.
Yes, absolutely. So those will come up with new notifications, which I really like, because then I know what's going on with my questions without having to go into the forum and sort through all of the questions and find where it is and look. So that to me is fantastic. Just a couple of things I'd suggest. I mean, personally, I think this will be good. If you can scroll down a bit more, Brian, a bit further down the screen. We've got the Lizards Lounge with the expert notes, the events, and the games and the contests. Personally, if I were a user, I'd suggest you'd go and look in each of those and click the follow button on them, because that's probably not somewhere where you'll post a question, but it's where we'll post things on a weekly basis. We're going to try and do a lot more interaction with our users. So for a long time now, we've had a question of the week. I'm just starting a What's Up Wednesday post. So every Wednesday, someone at SAFE will try and post something, and this just talks about, well, what was new this week. So we've got a new FME build up, some new hub items, upcoming webinars and blog posts and things. So I'm trying to put all of the information that you might not have seen during the week into a single post.
Yeah, and like Dean, feel free to comment here and leave us notes and things that you find interesting and get the discussion going.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I would suggest going to the expert notes page and hitting the follow button, and maybe the fun and games one as well, because we'll probably do weekly games and contests. We'll do weekly things at least. So so yeah, lots of things I would just follow by default, basically.
There's a spot I wanted to talk about quickly, Mark, which would be the user introductions topic.
Yes.
So I've got this one here. So as a new user, it's really helpful to come in here and, you know, share a little bit about yourself and what you've done with FME. For example, Hans, one of our community champs, which we'll talk about in a little bit, posts just a quick blurb about, you know, his experience with FME, and it's generated some really good discussion below. So yeah, please do that. I think it just makes the forum much more enjoyable for everybody. And yeah, we're going to, as Safers, do the same thing. So Jovita's done a nice one here. So don't be shy to do that.
Yeah, don't be intimidated. No one, like, I've been working with the community for almost 15 years now, and I've never once seen a harsh question or comment. We're all pretty relaxed on the site, Safers and users alike. So, and there's no such thing as a stupid question. There really isn't. So just ask whatever you need to ask.
And that's why we built this one as well, right? The new to FME space. Like, if you came to the old forum and the homepage is just all these technical questions, which is great. But if you're new and you're just trying to assess whether FME can do the task that you're trying to do, if it's the right fit for your organization, ask in here. don't be shy to get in there. We'll have our engagement team in here. We'll have our technical team as well, and we'll just make sure that we can talk to those more high-level questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you do get success, Mark, you can come into user stories and just share that with the world.
And a couple of users have done that already, which is fantastic. Yeah. Did you want to talk about groups?
Sure. So in the groups panel, we're not going to see too much today. As Mark said, we're thinking about how we're going to build this out. But the intention, again, is to create those more specific networking-based types of discussion forums. And we think things like technology-based, so maybe you're in the airport space, that might be a really good group to gather like-minded folks and have more specific discussions. And then regional groups as well might be something very, very useful. But what they are, we've got one for the hackathon, is just a smaller discussion forum. These can be private. This one, in fact, is public, so anyone can join it. And they're just really nice for, you know, sharing files, sharing ideas, getting a bit more pointed discussion happening. And so, yeah, we're excited. We're not quite sure exactly what the next step is here to rolling it out wider, but we're going to be looking at that at the next phase of the community for sure.
Yeah. And if anyone's got suggestions for what sort of groups they'd like to see, then please do let us know. I know we occasionally get questions in French in the old community, so maybe we have a special French group where you know that somebody else is going to be there who speaks the same language, so that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's much easier to talk about technology in your own language, I think, because words really don't translate sometimes.
Yes.
The other piece I'll just quickly mention, Mark, is the support side. And so off the top, I talked about the fact that you can now see your cases. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's pretty simple. My test user has one case here. As you build up your cases, you'll have a list of them in this list view. And you can just go into the specific case. You can see, you know, who at SAFE might have the case, what the status is. You can edit some of these fields. And one of the things that's really important is to tell us as a support team, you know, how critical is this issue? Because we will prioritize different cases based on some of these fields. So as you submit them, really just let us know. If it's a fire and you need our help and you're submitting it as a case, mark it critical and we'll jump on it as fast as we can. So that's one option there. The other thing you can do here is you can upload files. That's kind of neat for cases. And you can also talk to us right through this page. So let's say my issue actually was fixed. I'm not needing help anymore. I could post that to the expert taking my case. And I think this is a nice way not to have to rely on email all the time. So ideally, try using this next time you submit a case and see how that works for you. Yeah. I wanted to just see, I think we're at a QA point. And Preet, I'm going to just roll out to you here. Was there any questions that you wanted to hit on quickly while we have a pause in the action?
Nothing specifically. Just have a lot of questions, and folks are obviously already poking through the community and providing some great suggestions. One thing of interest might be if folks are interested in changing their username in the community, the nickname that they have. I don't know if we want to show that. I think some folks might be interested in learning how to do that. Maybe a fresh start in a fresh new community.
Yeah, quite easy, I believe. So what you would want to do is just view, let me see here, your settings. And and so it's all single sign-on based. So it's all one account for your FME cloud, your community, your FME hub. And so what you can do is come in here and manage your safe account. Let's see if we can do that. Might be funky because I'm using a test account, but that would come in here and then you can start to change your username and different things. So it's quite easy to do.
Yeah.
Which is great, right?
Yeah. There's one more question about viewing cases. I don't know if we can answer it now, but somebody was saying that they could only view their closed cases and not their open cases. I don't know if we have a quick view of what that might look like. Is there an easy way to show them where they can see their open cases?
Yeah, so it might be tricky. This drops down. So you can see different filters based on your cases that you have. So they should be here in open. So it might be that you've just recently viewed a few, but not seen some of those open ones. So I would check that out. In this case is actually open. So I can see it in my list view, but I've recently looked at it.
You see this little pin button there as well. So you could perhaps change that to open cases and hit the pin button. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. The one other thing I wanted to suggest to everyone, just as a basic question, is how do I leave feedback for the team? And so you can use this tool right here, which will pull up a quick survey and give us all the feedback that you have. And we love it. We really want to hear how you feel about it and what suggestions you might have.
People can see that we're learning as well as we go through this. Sometimes we're not quite sure of, hey, you can do that, you can pin, that's good. But yeah. One of the questions I did see come in as well was about using it on mobile, or if there was a mobile app. And I don't think there's an app, but the site is very well designed to work on mobile as well. It works a lot better than the last setup we had.
Definitely. It's been built and tested through mobile and browser at the same time. So it should look really good. So I think we had a poll on this one though, Mark. Did we have another poll for this?
I think we do, yes. And Stephanie's right on the ball there. And so yeah, we're just wondering which of the new features of the community really excite you the most, if any. But you can pick as many of these as you like. I know for a lot of users, access to support case is great. Yeah, I don't know. What are you most excited by, Brian, do you think?
I actually really think the groups is going to be a huge change for how the community functions. Just allowing those more specific and questions to happen, and also just to understand who else is in the same space as you as a user. I think that will be really powerful.
Yeah, for sure. I think personally as well, I think there's a lot more potential here for us to grow and join together different aspects of our support and everything really, because now you've got your single sign-on, you can access the hub and the community, and we can start making these connections. So perhaps when you're signing on to the community, it might say, oh, you got this question, how about looking at this transformer, or things like that we can perhaps start looking at. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh, separate forums to different topics. Yeah, that I think that's going to take a little getting used to at first, because we won't necessarily know. Like if I've got a question and it's in French and it's about FME cloud, but it's on security. So is it this forum? Should it go into a group? Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but I think it's going to work out really, really well. So,
yeah, I agree.
That's great.
I think it's just a nice way to organize the information, right? So yeah, we've touched upon this, but we're not done. The community, we've recently launched it, but we're working through this iteratively, and we want to continue to build new functionality and fix anything that's not working the way our users expect. So out of the hopper here, we do know there's a few pieces that we're obviously going to be working on very shortly. Groups, as we mentioned, there's lots of opportunity there. Mark, do you want to touch on just some of the other ideas we might have for content?
Yeah, so we've already got the Monday quiz going and a question of the week on Friday. We've got this idea of what's at Wednesday, which could be any sort of new item or tips or tricks and that sort of thing. So we're trying to get everyone in our tech experts team involved to try and post something occasionally, just like a little mini blog, you could say, So that's one of the things. We want to get more safe-based content out there because I do think there's lots of learning opportunities. It's not something you're going to look up specifically, but it's something that come out every week to read and say, oh, right, I didn't know that. That's useful. One of the other things that, by the way, I want to do more of is the gamification and try and connect the community to other activities that you do, maybe outside of the community. So say you attend a webinar like this, well, we could give you a badge for attending this webinar. We can give you reputation points for attending the webinar. So those are things I really want to start jumping on and ramping up and just improving that so you can show off more, like, oh, look, I went to the user conference and I attended 5 webinars and so on. And so yeah, so those are things that that I'd like to see going on.
Yeah, the other piece that we didn't touch upon yet, but we're going to be rebuilding our training portal, I guess I would say, and turning it into more of a learning management system. So you will have different modules that you can run through and learn that look quicker, but that will get you more badges and ability to carry that across with you as you travel through your FME journey. So we're, again, super excited about that, and that's coming up in the near future as well.
And it's just another example of sort of meshing all of our systems together to produce something that's more helpful to you, because that's what we're all about, is making your life easier, making you more powerful at your job. That's everything that this is about, is to help our users make the most of our product.
Yeah, absolutely. And on support cases, we'll be looking at just improving that interface, making sure the information there is what you need. And we will have the ability to have you be able to see your organization's cases, which in many cases that can be incredibly helpful because you may not know your neighbor there has the same question as you, and you can collaborate or save time or get the answer that way. So yeah, we'll be looking at how to do that effectively and safely as well.
Yeah. Community Champions program. Yeah, and I noticed I've got another quick poll just to see if you've heard of this program before, because I know that not everyone will have heard of this. And while we're sort of filling in that poll, really what this is a program where we recognize the achievements and the input from some of our more senior users on the community, if you like. So we'll just leave the poll going for another few seconds, but these are basically handpicked people from the community that we think best represent the community and who might be able to help you more. They can help spot problems with the community and let us know and that sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, so most of you have just heard of them. We do have at least one community champion on the call. Fantastic. I think I know who that is, but yeah, just to go on with that, yeah, we handpick these people. It's not a program that you apply for. It's just we recognize that certain people are providing so much involvement and support to the community that we want to recognize them more. And we're going to give them that recognition as wide as we can. And we'll give them prizes and swag, and they get extra moderation permissions on the group as well. So yeah, and the champions, the list is on the right in case you didn't know. Takashi, who is so famous for being so helpful that he actually has his own badge on the community, like the Takashi badge. I mean, he's that influential. So this goes back to what I'm saying about networking and being recognized as an expert user. He really does help. But so do the other champions as well, obviously. And so we've got Red Geographics, who are in the Netherlands. Takashi's in Japan. David, I think, is in Switzerland. I believe that's right. And so those are our champions for a long time. We've got a few new champions as well. JDH, who is based in Canada. and E.B. Gom, who is based in Britain, I believe. So yeah, we've got champions all around the world, and we don't put any. It's not like an official job. We don't pay them or anything. They just doing what they do for the love of the community. So we thank them so much for that. And they're not obligated to do anything. But I guess if you were having problems and you couldn't find a safer online, then you could reach out to these and say, hey, I've got a problem with the community. What's your advice, and that sort of thing. And I'm sure they would help. So.
And special thanks to them as well, Mark, for helping during the initial testing phases of the new community. They're very incredibly helpful to give us feedback.
Absolutely. And so yeah, a lot of them have got very high reputation. But other people do as well. So I want to give a shout out to everyone who contributes to the community and has a high reputation point, which proves what they do. And we didn't carry all of the badges across from the old site and the reputation, but we did create a bunch of new badges that reflected what you did on the old site. We call them retro badges. So there's the retro celebrity, the retro all-rounder, the things like that recognize what you did on the old community and carry that recognition forward. So you might find, if you're from the old community, you might find you already won some badges on the new one.
Yeah. Well, we've got another poll as well.
We do, the hackathon. And again, this is just another quick poll about, hey, did you know about this? So yeah, you might have known that we were going to have a user conference this year in Vancouver. And like a lot of events, that got postponed. So we thought, well, how can we sort of help and replicate that? And we figured, hey, a hackathon will be good, because we do have a hackathon every conference, and it's one of the most fun and challenging but learning experiences. So yeah, we thought, hey, we'll run a hackathon. So it's running over the entire month of August. I think we can probably close the poll. Thank you. So yeah, third of us have only just heard of it, and obviously, yeah, it's not compulsory to take part, but we think it is a great opportunity for networking and working together, because the one that takes place at the user conference is one of the most interesting things. So yeah, let's look at the slide. So what is a hackathon? Well, it's basically where you take FME and you create some sort of project with it. Normally it's a project that you wouldn't be able to work on. Maybe it's a pet project you thought, I'd always like to try that, but I don't know how to do that. So maybe you need to form a team. The theme is connections. Sorry, Brian, I'm talking a lot. Did you have?
No. I did.
Okay.
It's good. Talking about the theme, because I think we really thought hard about what would make the most sense, and it felt really key to pick this theme.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, connections are perhaps what we're missing now. And so the idea is that you come up with a project that helps connect people. Maybe it just connects two data sets together. I mean, how you interpret connections will leave entirely up to you. And we do have some project ideas. If you go to that link that's listed there, fme.ly/hackathon 2020, there's a whole bunch of project ideas that you can find. So the rules are, you can sign up individually, you can sign up as a team. We've got a registration form. But the nice thing is, we were wondering, well, what can we do for prizes, especially if you've got a team that's all over the place in terms of geography. And we thought, well, maybe we can do contributions to charity. So for everyone who signs up and enters the hackathon and submits something, we're going to make a donation to the World Foundation, I think it is, for mental health.
Yeah.
Thing, and the winners will get a cash prize to donate to the organization of their choice as well, or we'll donate it on their behalf rather. So we figured for the times that we're going through, those are probably a good thing. So yeah, there's some project ideas.
Yeah, I like the web service. Anything webby always piques my interest, but the world is amazingly filled with APIs that you can utilize, and FME is a great tool to connect to them. So we've seen some really interesting ones around that over the years. I think there was a joke generator, which was funny a few years ago. But I think with this theme, connecting to some different web applications would be really interesting, and seeing what kind of data you can manipulate from there.
I guess you could join things up. You could look for a weather forecasting app, and when it's cloudy and rainy somewhere, you send people in that area a joke. I don't know. That's just like a crazy idea off the top of my head. That's the sort of thing we're looking for. I'd make a connection between data, make a connection that does things for people that might help them out. Even if it's just sending them a joke on a rainy day. Hey, it's a project. So yeah, you can work as an individual, you can work as a team, find out more about the hackathon. And yeah, I'd love to see more people from different organizations sort of signing up as a team and trying to do something. And yeah, so it finishes in September, and we'll host another webinar to present all of the projects. And yeah, sorry, I know I'm going on and on about that. But,
well, it's exciting, Mark. Like
it is.
Every year I look forward to it. We've done it a number of years in the past, and it's always just so fun to see what everybody is building.
And this one, we're really, really going for it. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, awesome. So I think we'll just do a bit of a summary here, and then we'll open it up for QA, and we can maybe look at a few more specific pieces on the community that we didn't get a chance to touch on. But I think overall, you know, it is really, as an FME user, the best place to join into, as everyone picked in that poll question, get support, learn FME, get help, and grow and connect with other FME users. So very simple to sign up, highly recommend it. And, you know, as next steps, all you really need to do, go to the site, share feedback. I showed you where that link is on the homepage, but in case you missed it, it's just simple community.safe.com/s. We're using Salesforce as our medium for hosting the community, so there's going to be S's all over the place, but /feedback. And that will get you to be able to just share with us what you're thinking about it. And then, of course, sign up for that hackathon, Mark. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And we have a blog about this as well. And I actually wanted to share, coming up, we're going to be doing a blog and possibly a webinar as well, just about how we did the migration between our systems, because we used FME to move all the data from our older community to this new community. And we did lots of really interesting, cool ways of getting that across, using APIs, using machine learning. So we're going to be excited to share that with everyone shortly as well.
Yeah,
and with that,
it was pretty incredible to see.
Yeah, we had an internal presentation the other day from Nathan, who works on our experts team, and the sheer success they had by using machine learning to move things to all those new topics. Was just incredible.
So I think he analyzed the question and came back with, oh, this question should go in desktop or server or security or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we have some time for questions, which is great. I'm going to just leave the slide for a sec so that we're on the community in case any of these are very specific. I know we just scratched the surface of the different pieces and technology here. So yeah, now Preet, do you have anything that you wanted to bring up at this stage?
Yeah, there's a question about groups. I think you guys touched upon it really briefly, but they're asking, I guess, what the plan for groups are in the future. Will it be restricted to some users? Can groups be private? I don't know if you can sort of provide the vision for groups.
Definitely. So what we aim to do is have a mixture of public groups, and those would be those regional groups for example, if you're in Germany, we would have a German group that you can join, and technology-based groups. So as Mark said, I love XML, maybe that's a group in there. We're going to do a bit of internal work to create just a small set of starting groups, and then we'll launch those probably in the next few months. And those would be public, but there is the opportunity to do private groups. And what that could mean for different organizations is the idea of having your own group on the community that only your users within your organization can access. And I honestly think that would be really, really powerful as a way to share, network, not network necessarily, but work together, especially now as we're all separate and working from different spots in the world, and your organization may be distributed as well. It can really connect your users together. So we're open to that, and all you would need to do to try to set one of those up is just talk to myself, and we can work together to make that happen. There will be, there's going to be just a mixture of that. I don't foresee a ton of private groups at the moment, but the other one that I would say is we have an Explorers program, which would be a semi-private group. And what the Explorers program is a way where you can beta test some new features and give us feedback. And it's really, really great to sign up to that. We'll do it through a group here, and it would be private, but what you would do is click inside and say, I'd like to join, and that will get you into the process of signing up for that, which is pretty lightweight anyways. So yeah, it has a good vision here. We're just trying to roll it out pretty slowly just to make sure we do it in a way that works for everybody.
That's very exciting. And just another question about, I think Mark addressed it in the Q&A chat here, but thought we might as well share it about badge levels. I don't know if you want to talk towards, talk about the different badge levels and what the different colors indicate.
Sure. So actually, if you scroll back down again, Brian, if you can click on one of these, like Red Geographics or David maybe, or whatever. They've got their profile pictures there, I guess, but you can see recognition badges, and you can click the View All button. So yes, they've got so many points that makes them a headliner. Let's see how many badges. You can scroll down a little bit. So those are all the retro ones. So I think David, So community
champ badge there,
and certification. But the question was about some of the badges are gray. It says teacher brackets gray. And what does the gray bit mean? Well, we've got graded ranks for those ones. So if you answer one question, you get a gray badge for being a teacher. And if you answer 10 questions, I think you get a bronze badge, and then 100 questions, you get a silver, and 1,000 questions, you get the gold badge. So that's a badge you can get like that.
We have an article.
The article was there, yeah.
We didn't talk about articles too much either there, Mark, but there, the whole component of this is each topic has those discussion forums, and it also has any article that we've written related to it.
Yes. So maybe I should have gone bronze, silver, gold, platinum, which is more usual, but I just went with the lower level. I went gray, bronze.
Yeah. Hey, it works. And the other piece is the reputation levels, right?
Yeah. So
as
we carried 10% of the reputation over from the old, just so you didn't lose completely. Right. And I think right now I'm a celebrity.
Ooh, nice.
You sure are, Mark.
Well, it's a TV show in Britain called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. But thankfully that's not the case here. But yeah, I've gone past being an evangelist. I'm now a celebrity.
Awesome. Yeah. So as you work through the community, you'll build this up, right? The more you contribute, the more levels you can kind of rank up. Yeah. And here's actually the point system that is behind how you earn reputation. So if you're ever interested in how you're getting points, this is how you're doing it.
So yeah, keep writing comments and questions and answers and voting people up. and down, and that will be, yeah, that's fantastic.
We had a question about where links and attachments reside in articles. I don't know if you want to quickly point out that new little section in articles.
Yeah, so again, as you click into knowledge base, probably one of the best ways is searching, of course, if you're looking for something specific. But if you're looking for, you know, how do I automate with FME, and coming into the article section for automation is a great spot to do that. And let's see, so I'm going to guess that I'm looking for one with downloads in it. Let's try, well, automations actually may not have downloads generally because it would be a package of some sort, but let's do a desktop based because I'm assuming there's going to be a workspace sitting there waiting to go. And let's try the Python caller. So yes, all the files for any of these articles will sit on the right-hand side here, which is very nice. And the content will live just here. And you can scroll down and see the article and go step by step, or depending on what it is. But yeah, so it's been moved. We tried to make it just as prominent as possible and kind of take it out of the context. So sometimes you miss links or things within an article, so this should help.
One other thing I wanted to mention about groups, because I know a while ago we were talking about having local user groups in terms of like Toronto FME users and Denver FME users, which I think might even exist already, and Vancouver FME user group. That's another thing that we could use. So it wouldn't just be like a language group, it could be a specific city or something that where there's a lot of FME users based. We could do something like that in lieu of a user group in reality, and so we could help out with resources for that, I'm sure, and help set up virtual meetings online if that was necessary. And yeah, so we could certainly do things like that. But yeah, just the idea of local user groups. I just remembered that one. So yeah.
Perfect. I know we're about a minute or two over time, but we do want to stick around for any more questions. Was there anything critical there, Nampreet, or we'd be happy to kind of stick around after and continue talking?
Yeah, nothing else. Just maybe we had a lot of good ideas and suggestions, and maybe if you can share out or let folks know where to go to provide feedback again.
Yep. So if you were just on the homepage of the community, you'll see the link right here. I believe as well you can get to it. I'll go back to my slide from, let me see. I think we shortened it, but yeah, this will do it as well. community.safe.com/s/feedback. But of course, the easiest way is just through here. Yeah. And the form's right there. You don't have to click through or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's new users to the community here as well. So, I mean, just explore it. Please do. Like the ideas, people post ideas for FME. We look through them. The ones that get voted up the most, we look at them really closely. And there you go. You can see that one's in beta version, that top one.
Yep.
Some of them are just gathering interest. That's gathered quite a lot of interest.
I know we've worked hard on that internally to figure out our direction there. Yes. Yeah, some of these get, of course, released, and this has been a very good tool for us for sure.
Yeah. So please, I mean, just from the number of ideas that have got released, please feel free to add your own ideas on here as well. And there's a good chance that if enough people vote for them and it fits into our schedule, we'll implement it.
Yep, a great way to get reputation points too.
It is, yeah. And again, good way to become an expert, recognized expert in FME. If you posted a question that said, "Oh, I'd like to have a dark mode in FME," and then we implement it, you can be like, "Hey, that was me. I suggested that."
Yeah, credibility.
Yeah, credibility. It is. It's good, and I think it really does help. You start to recognize names, and you recognize the people behind it, and you know you can trust them and get their help, and vice versa. So yeah, it's a great site. Already was. Now it's just going to be even better.
That's right. Yeah, we're very, very excited, and we really hope everyone here today joins and come talk to us on the community. Happy to have you there.
Well, we should probably stop talking now since we're over time. But,
we're so excited, Mark. That's the thing.
I know. And there was the XML-a-thon webinar, and I feel sure we can do a community-a-thon.
That's right.
But we won't.
Any last words from your side, Mark?
Not really. Again, I just emphasize, please do take part in the community. I think it's great. The more networking we can get together, the more learning and the more opportunities that our users get. We implemented this site, but it really is for you, the users, to use. And so use it however you want to. If you've got any ideas, something we can improve, another way we can make it better for you, then please let us know. It's all about making you better FME users and helping you at work and helping you become an FME superhero. So
that's right. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I wanted to mention quickly too, since I'm coming from the webinar side, we are in the works of planning maybe like a Google Hangout type of webinar where people can come and work together and maybe work on their hackathon projects and get maybe a little bit of advice or have some Q&A. So if that's something that interests you, let us know in the survey or added chat here, and then we can look at implementing that and maybe doing more of those. So I think, with that, I'll go ahead and kind of close this down, but I'll leave it running for another 5 minutes or so in case you have any last thoughts or questions.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.